Good morning. How is everybody doing today? All right, let's all turn our cameras on so we can all see each other like true virtual friends. And we shall get started. Jeffrey, Kevin, Jennifer, Patricia, Rhonda, Lisa, Mike, Kate. Appreciate you all turning on your cameras. All right, so let's get started. So look, we're going to talk about the Compass CRM today. I'm going to tell you my personal viewpoint. I can never in my life ever figure out how people can do all of these weeks of training on the basics of a CRM. To me, it's arguably one of like the most simple things in the world. Like many things, people make it way too complicated, right? So we're going to go through a simple process that you can all follow. Now, what is additional training around this? If we talk about segmented marketing, marketing funnels, and all those other things, that is a very different conversation, right? But if you look at the CRM, 90% of agents that work here at Compass work based on past clients and centers of influence, right? Referrals. Hit yes or raise your hand if that's how your business operates. Okay. Keep your hand up if you want to know how to sell your business one day. Everybody's hand should go up and everyone should hit yes in the chat, right? Because here's the thing. If you don't have a good CRM, what is somebody buying? They're not buying anything. There's nothing to buy. There's nothing to sell in your life's work because you are not able to do small things consistently will never happen, right? So, but the good news is we're going to walk you through the process today. So let me share my screen and we'll get started. CRM is marketing, right? So if you think about this, what is your CRM? It really is a marketing tool. That's all that it is, right? It's a way to organize people, places, things, conversations, notes, things you have to do into one place that can drive marketing that drives connection, collaboration, and business. So your marketing has to be P and P, planned and purposeful. So does your CRM. We're going to start off by helping you build. Thanks, Barb. And we're going to be very purposeful in our actions, right? And I say P and P should operate for all areas of your business. Everything you do in life should be planned and purposeful, right? So if it doesn't have a plan and it's not properly managed, what ends up happening? You have more stuff to do. You have more fires to put out. And this is why I believe agents are so overwhelmed because it is like the chaos theory. It just never ends, right? It goes round and round and round and round. And it's like, you know, that song that like our kids sing at school, this is a song that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends, right? It's like, and then you listen to the lyrics. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was. Well, in business, we start doing things, not knowing what we're exactly doing. And this is why the chaos just keeps going. So I want you to remember that as like a mindset in how we use our CRM. This is our mantra for the CRM and everything we talk about. Small actions done consistently produce oversized results. So let's make it simple together. And when I'm telling you that this is so simple, and yes, I'm hyping this up because it really is that simple. It's like many of the other things I teach you. All it's like, really, it can't be that simple. It is. Your clients don't want complicated. You don't want complicated. So if you're able to do these basic things day in and day out, you're going to get oversized results. I have a client that I work with, Aaron Buckbinder. He's in Boca Raton, Florida. When I met Aaron, he was like around 350 GCI, had a small disbanded team. Aaron did 2.5 million last year, is on pace to probably do around the same or maybe around 3 million. I'm actually no, his numbers are all up 40 to 60%. So he'll probably do like maybe 3 and change. But here's the secret. Aaron doesn't do anything. He does these basic actions consistently really well, and he goes about on one vacation a month. It's pretty crazy, right? And if you ask him, like, what's the secret to your success? He follows this foundation religiously day in and day out, but it gives him flexibility and freedom. Organize and archive, right? So let's talk about your contacts. I call this the 15-second rule. Has anyone tried organizing and archiving contacts? Okay. We all just froze. All right. Can you guys hear me? Somebody give me a thumbs up.
We can still hear you.
Okay. Everybody froze. That's why I got worried. Okay. So you're going to bring all your contacts into Compass. The first thing I'm going to tell you is you have way too many people in your database. Like you have no idea who these people are, like none, right? And so our minds tell us the more people we have, the more likely we're going to be successful. But that could not be further from the actual truth. Because does your brain go to avoid pain or seek pleasure? It goes to avoid pain. So when you have all of these strangers in your CRM, what ends up happening is you don't ever want to send anything. You tend to overthink things because you don't want to upset people, have people think you're too salesy. So this is where the 15-second rule comes from. The 15-second rule says, if I don't know who this person is in 15 seconds or less, I'm going to archive. So the goal is to have clean data that you can take action off of, right? That's it. So every day you should block off 15 to 30 minutes to organize and archive your people. You're not going to do it all in one day. Now, I want to introduce this concept of productivity to you. It's called activity over outcome, right? So you're not going to say, I'm going to group or archive 1,000 people today, 500 people. It doesn't matter. I want you just to block time in your calendar and say, today I'm going to archive for 15 minutes, 30 minutes. When you're sitting in your car waiting for your clients, because some of them tend to be late, instead of going on Instagram, texting people, just go onto the mobile version of your app. Roxana can show you how to do this, and the AEMs can. And for your tech session, organize, archive. That is like the most important thing that you guys need to do, right? So let's talk about how we break up our CRM. And before we do that, I want to explain to you my view of CRM. Now, think of your CRM as a party that you're having in your home. Would you want a group of strangers, Mike, to come to your home that you don't know who they are? No, right? Then the other one is, and this is just my personal view, the whole I'm going to group these people as A, B, C, D's to me is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And if you run your business this way, I hope I didn't offend you because it's not my course. As human beings, I don't look at Doug Baldwin and be like, you know what? Doug's a B because I'd only email and text him. Claire's an A. I would call, text, and email her. Like that's just not how you think about people, right? That's not how our brain rationalizes relationships, right? So we'll go into how do we break these people down, and we're actually going to use a more sophisticated lifetime of a client valued approach. Now, groups. Now think of your CRM like letting people in there like your house. Now, organizing it, I want you to think of it like a closet. Groups, right? Are like shirts. There are all kinds of different shirts. There's t-shirts, button downs, polos, right? But you're going to group your shirts in one place. Now, if you have an organized closet, would you ever just put like a t-shirt, a polo shirt, a button down shirt all next to each other where you couldn't find anything? No. That's what tags are for, right? So if you think about it, a group is a shirt, right? Or a group could be a buyer. There's a first-time buyer. There's a move-up buyer, right? There's an empty nester that's a buyer, right? So like a downsizer buyer, that would be. So there's all these different tags within a group. But a group is just a category, and the more you think about it like clothes, the more easier it is to relate to. Now, selling your business, right? Actually, let me go back to this for 1 second. Tags, before we get into that. Can somebody tell me what they think the purpose of a tag is?
To group clients and be able to send them specific things based on the group that they might be, whether it's a lead or a past client or current client.
Bingo, segmented marketing, right? So popular tags, kids under 10. How many people here have kids under 10? Anybody? Nobody. Cool. Well, to your clients, raise your hand if your clients have kids under 10. Right? A lot of us. Do you know what every person that has kids under 10s is looking for? What am I going to do to bring my kids outside of my house so we're not all trapped in a house every weekend, just like breaking things, making things messy. They're all looking for things to do. So if you have families with kids under 10, and you can use ChatGPT to do this in like literally minutes, and you sent them a weekly newsletter, things to do with your kids this weekend in blank place, they would open that email, they'd share it with their friends. But if you don't tag the people, you don't know who to send that to. Now, if you're sending this to all your past clients, and I'm an empty nester with no kids, guess what you're telling them? Nothing says personalized communication like mass emails. You want emails to speak to people, right? You can go into ChatGPT and say, I have a large group of empty nesters. I'm looking to create local marketing. Give me 5 different suggestions. It'll give you 5 suggestions. After that, you can go and say, now I would like you to do research and write me the next 4 newsletters for the month where it was an experience they have, something they could do that was specific, and that they could relate back to something good I shared with you. The thing's going to write it for you, right? Not complicated. Like anyone can do this. So if you organize your data and you only have people that you know in there, then it's easy to group them and tag them in the right place. And then when you're putting time in your calendar, you could say, put an hour that says work on email marketing for kids under 10. Not write 10 newsletters, not make a year's, that's it. And you just spend the time. Eventually you do the activity long enough, you'll start to understand what the outcome of time is. But this whole like, I'm going to contact 10 people in an hour. That sounds great, right? I'm going to spend an hour and I'm contacting. So my first question when I hear that is do you know how to have a 6-minute conversation? For most people, it's no, right? You'd have to literally know and says, hey, Vincent, hey, Madeline, like, hey, I just got to the doctor's. I literally have 5 minutes before my appointment. I drove by your house the other day. How's your summer going? And I knew you wanted to do a lot in your backyard. Just want to see what's new. That was it. And then at 4 minutes, I would say, hey, not to cut you off, but I was just thinking about you and I literally only had 5 minutes. I see the people at the front desk waving at me. So if you need something, let me know and I'll talk to you soon. That's a time conversation, but that's a learned skill, right? All right, let's get into this fun conversation of selling our business, right? There are 2 things that you buy when you buy it. There's a few things you buy when you buy a business, right? But 2 things that really drive it. What you're buying is the brand, the processes, and the customer base, correct? Right? So that's a real estate business. Like if I bought a 4 Seasons franchise, do you know what I'm essentially buying if I'm opening a new store? I'm buying their brand and their systems and processes and the way they engage with clients, right? I'm buying an existing 4 Seasons, I'm buying their systems, processes, brand, and their entire client database. Now, how many of us, I'm going to raise my hand first, like traveling to nice places? Right? Nice hotels, nice resorts, right? I feel like Arizona, a lot of you can raise your hand because your state's just so damn beautiful, right? So if you think about it, I go back to the 4 Seasons. They ask my name. Have you ever noticed when you go to the front desk, they're like, okay, Miss Patterson, right? I don't know if you're Miss or Miss. I'm just going to assume Miss or Mrs., right? Mr. Mrs. Patterson. Hold on, give me 1 second. They type the name and you notice that they're reading the screen. They're looking at all the notes and all the activities that they have about you. And they're like, oh, Miss Patterson, like we noticed that you like going to this dinner and you really love this. Would you like us to make a reservation for you? That person has never needed to meet you because guess what? They're great notes and great activities. In your CRM, you can have notes for people. You can log every call that you make as an activity, every email, every text. It depends how bad you want to sell your business. It's how much time you put into this. So when somebody buys your business, I could tell that I called Heather. This is a gift I sent. This is how much money I spent. This is how many referrals she sent me. This is her value. Like it makes it really easy for anyone to be able to work with these people. Does that make sense to everybody? All of these topics like selling your business and using your CRM, they're not complicated, but it goes back to our theme of small actions and unconsistently produce oversized results. It's about the way we do these little things and the plan that we have and the purpose that we have in doing it. It all ties together in a symmetrical circle. Lifetime value of a client. Okay. Do you know why so many companies are trying to pierce the real estate bubble? Anybody?
Because there's money to be made.
There's a lot of money to be made. Now think about this. How many people have recommended a painter, a cleaner, a contractor, an HVAC person, a local restaurant, an attorney, a lender, an escrow officer? The list goes on and on and on. We recommend as an industry billions of dollars that supply all the other industries. That's why when the whole real estate market tanks and goes to shit, like everything else is bad, right? Because you guys drive so many other businesses. Everyone wants to know. So they know the lifetime value of these clients that purchase a home are high, right? They're buying electronics, consumer goods, foods, car, like all of these different things, right? So here's the thing. And I want 3 people to answer this question. Ladies first. How do you quantify the lifetime value of a client as your business sits today?
Transactions that we've had with them. I
Okay,
mean,
fair.
and moving
Transact-
forward, I'm not sure.
Okay, so transactions that you have with them. Thank you. You're 2 for 2 today, Patricia. So
Yeah.
how do you, if I've sold 2 houses with you and bought one, where do you put the data and how do you quantify it?
I've sold 2 houses and bought one.
Your CRM,
Great. What do you put in your CRM?
their past transactions or current transactions. Track them.
And what specifically do you write in your CRM?
Their home anniversary date.
Bingo. That's the problem, right? So when I have sent you, like, all right, I'm going to use Stephanie, Monica, and Sean, right? We built an incredible relationship. Stephanie even introduced her husband to refer to my program, right? Like out of all the people who could be like the most important in her life, she chose her husband, right? Like that's high trust, right? Monica and Sean have been incredible partners and like they've been great. Now imagine I sent them the same generic Christmas card as I did everybody else who's just like that I know, right? If somebody's referred you a bunch of deals and you send them some generic canned gift, you've done more harm than good. They're like, wait a second. If you think your clients aren't calculating how much money they've made off of your referrals, you're sadly mistaken. Wow, I sent them $10 million of business. They probably made several $100,000 and this is what I get. So then the next question is, in a sea of thousands of people in this database, how do you know who to prioritize going to coffee, lunch, dinner, private events, gifts? How do you prioritize all these people? How do you know? Like, how can I know within 5 minutes or less who my top clients are that I really need to reach out for? You have a VIP client list, right? Is that a tag you have, Vince, in your CRM? Okay, great. So how do I get on your VIP client list?
People that are on our VIP list are usually people who have referred us business or done multiple transactions recently.
Got it. So write these 3 letters down, CCQ, right? So that's an exclusive club that I imagine gets exclusive benefits, right? Yes? I hope so. I'm going to assume yes, right? Just like getting into any club, you need to hit a threshold, right? Like if you want JetBlue Mosaic status, you have to either fly a certain amount or spend $50,000 on their JetBlue Plus card. That is really clear, right? If you want to enter into my VIP club, you have to have blank. And as a result, you get blank. It's the only way that you can do accurate budgeting and forecasting for your business, right? And I know Stephanie's really adamant, right, Stephanie, about running your business like a business by the numbers, right? So she's going to show you all that. I'm going to give you the system and how to actually use it. So I'm going to come back to how this all works. Actually, you know what? Hold on. All right. I'm going to go into the contacts. I've been trying to get them to change this button for 7 years to the word CRM, but they'll never do it. Why? I don't know. All right, Aaron, right? He's my buddy who was just talking to you about you before, right? So now, if you look at this, I just want to see the notes. Okay. So I've been adding the notes from Aaron's been my test demo for years, right? Like kids started playing basketball. This is a gift I could sell. So look at this. If you look right here, let me make this bigger. Aaron closed on 123 Main Street, $25,000, added the tag, right? So if your average price point, average commission check is $20,000, right? Make it 20 to 40. If it's 25, you make it 20 to 50, right? You take the average number and you double it, right? So this is how you pick your tags, right? So you notice here, I put lifetime value $25,000, right? Because that's how much I made from him. Now, Aaron refers his buddy Levi Meyer, who wanted to live next door to him because their kids are best friends, their wives are best friends. Levi bought a house. I made another $25,000 commission. Now, Aaron's tag is updated to $50,000, right? Because out of my relationship with Aaron, I've made $50,000. I would go into Levi's thing because he's only bought with me once. So that relationship is worth $25,000. And now if you see up here, Aaron has the tag 25 to 50. Is this something very complicated to do? Yes or no? But here's the magic in this, right? It goes back to small actions done consistently produce oversized results. If I did this with every single one of my clients, I could say, you know what? Who are my 100K plus people? I want to do this for them. Here's my 25 to 50. Here's what I want to do. And now you can budget a year's worth of things. But those people have done 100, 200. Do you think if those people love the opera or they love the Arizona Cardinals, it would make sense to spend $500 and send them to a game? 100%, because you've made over $100,000 plus on them. This is the easiest way. So when we sit and talk about strategy, we look at, okay, here's your lifetime values. Here's how many you have. Here's how many people are each. What do you want to do with them, right? So we look at like the VIP, like the 100K, 200K, depending on what your price point is. Let's like, all right, great. We need to know that like, let's look for patterns of these people. Like, oh, look, they're all business owners. They're entrepreneurs. They love networking. Great. Let's do one networking dinner, one quarter. Another quarter, let's send them a really cool gift. Another quarter, let's send them a really nice experience. And during a holiday party, we want to do this, or this is what we want to do for the holidays. It's easy. Great. Like these are people that just bought homes. They're in that 0 to 25 range, right? So we know that these people all have, oh, look at this, the 0 to 25 range and the kids under 10. Wow, there's a group of 30 people. Well, these are people we want to invite to coffee, get to know, send them great newsletters because they're families and families know other families that might want to move to the area, might be moving up, so on and so forth. But you can get really, really strategic at that level, right? You can't do it if you don't have all this information and clean data in your CRM. So look, there are 3 types of people that live in your CRM. People you've closed business with, people that have referred business to you, and number 3, people you want or have a relationship to grow business with. Those are the most important people. You can dump all these leads in there, but like, unless you have a really good nurture plan to convert a lead to a client, just get rid of them. You're not going to do anything with them anyway, right? Every time a lead comes in, especially if it's an open house lead, an internet lead, a cold lead, if you don't have an 8-touch campaign to put these people in, don't even bother putting them in there because it's going to ruin all the other good things of your business. Oops. 3 things that ruin a CRM. Number 1, trying to make every contact perfect. You need to start somewhere. You have the mistake of thinking quantity over quality, right? And too many random people, which it makes it focus to focus on. If you're doing 1, 2, or 3 of these things, just change the habit, change the behavior, simplify what you do, and I guarantee you'll be much better. I'll get to all the questions in the end. So what we want to know is, this is what we believe is core 4 in here, right? Your past clients, your sphere of influence, agents, and vendors. Vendors are the number 1 untapped resource. How many people send vendors tons of business and get nothing in return? Besides like a card at dinner or something else. Okay. This all ends today. 100%. What I'm going to share with you are 2 of the coolest things I've ever learned in my life. The first one I did not come up with, even though this is something from like 15 years ago. I will never take credit for something that's not mine. Sitting in my office when I had a brokerage, top agent sitting there, lender calls me up. How many people get cold calls from lenders? Raise your hand. Do you know that's the #1 missed opportunity for leads that you have in your business today? I was shocked to hear this. I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, why were you so like short with the guy? I was like, yeah, I'm a loyal guy, right? I'm like, well, I work with a lender and this and that. She goes, can I give you a suggestion to try? And I'm like, sure. So I asked Maribel, I'm like, Maribel, what do you want me to say? Like, what do you say? She says, I've gotten so much business from different lenders like this. I go, really? I go, what do you do? So they're all trying to pitch you for your business, right? Well, here's what I say. I would say, Monica, hey, really appreciate the call and really excited and happy to work with you. Pause. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's great. And they're gonna start telling you all the things they can do. You're gonna say, I have the same standard for everyone I work with. If you can send me a client and like not like the person buying like the lowest price home in the neighborhood, like your ideal client, right? That's like $1 million in this area or however it is you run your business. And I can see how you work with them and that we can collaborate well together. Happy to send you business. I had one lender I met like this who like literally he would not leave me alone. And then finally I said this to him because he wouldn't stop showing up to my office. I earned over $1 million in commissions from this show. The first one that he sent me was a $650,000 townhouse sale, a rental, and a purchase of $1.2 million. First deal. These people all know people, right? So that's one. Now the second one is leveraging lenders, and that's the script. Now I'm gonna talk about business growth meetings, right? Remember how we were talking about the lifetime value of our clients in the CRM? Well, guess what you're going to do? All of these vendors are now going to be in your CRM. In the note section, when Kevin Craig sends somebody $100,000 remodel, referred business approximately 100K. And I would tell these vendors that you're sending a lot of business with, I'd be like, hey, I want to meet with us. I want to have a meeting once a month and seeing how we can continue to collaborate, how we can grow both of our businesses together, set the tone, right? And you start the meeting and you smile. They're not going to show up the first meeting, but this really in sales, it's called the pattern interrupt. It's like the last thing they expect here in the world. It says, hey, I'm really excited over the last month or the last year, we're able to refer you $400,000 in jobs, business, loans, whatever the number is. So what I want to see is how I can continue supporting you and then also talk about how you can support our business as well. They're literally like this. They're going to just start coming up with ideas because look, if it's not categorized and it's not presented in a certain way, they don't remember, right? It's not like these are highly organized people with great CRMs. That's not how trade services or lenders even really work, right? And you're going to say, great. So we'll meet again next month. It's like 30 minutes. I'll have some ideas for you and let me know on some ideas and how you could help us get clients as well. They're either going to show up or they're going to show themselves out the door. People are either going to send you business or give you money for events and sponsor things you do. If not, there are very few categories where you find mutually exclusive people that are that good at their job, right? I would say one category is home inspectors, right? Like if you get a really honest, good home inspector that does right by the client and doesn't also blow up your deals, right? Like those two things aren't mutually exclusive. It's very hard to replace those people. But outside of that, lenders, escrow people, contractors, electricians, you can find good people that are interested in growing. So this is something that you can actively take leads out of. Now, consistent and momentum make you money. That's it. Consistency and momentum. So if you change the script with the lender, if you start categorizing what you do with your vendor partners, if you put the lifetime value in, you organize your closet well so you can send great messages, and you get rid of all these random weirdos you have in your house, aka your CRM, you're set up for long-term success. So next steps. Organize your contacts, create your tag list. You have a follow-up plan for those main categories. Be a mobile agent, right? Get used to doing this on your phone, right? And when I talk about journal, that means really note-taking and network with people in your database. Get out there, right? Whether it's going to the office, going to have coffee. If you're going to have coffee with clients all the time, have them in the same exact coffee shop every single week. That's the goal, right? So then people start seeing you. The owners know you, right? Ideally go to a boutique coffee house, right? And if you also want a really cool idea, you find do you guys have boutique coffee shops by you that are like owned by actual people? Great. Morning commuters. Do you have commuters that go to those coffee shops? One of the coolest ways to do a collaboration with them, because coffee is really cheap, you could buy 2 hours worth of coffee and like put your brand and your information and a QR code on it or something like that and say, we'll buy everyone's coffee for the next like 2 hours. It's not going to be a huge bill, right? But you get in front of those people every single week. I've seen agents do this. It's wildly successful. All right, we're at 1:30 on the dot. Let me go through and answer the questions in the chat. Referrals. Okay. Can you talk more about the nurture plan? Look, I think nurture plans, right, are 8 points of contact, and it starts with how you pre-qualify people. If you listen, then you have an outcome-based follow-up. But if they don't re-engage right away, figure out if they're buyers, send them all local community information, right? Like things to do, things that are happening, great places to go grab a bite to eat, and nurture them through community and local marketing. Jennifer, what do you unmute yourself? What do you mean when a lot of your clients are really close friends? What makes it difficult?
Hi, Chirag.
Hello.
We're talking about, for example, when you have a client that has brought you X amount of business, that you send them, $500 ticket to a baseball game. But when they're your close personal friends and you're constantly doing things with them, it does make it more difficult because you don't want to be in a cycle of always taking them out for dinner and paying and sending them things because you're spending so much time together. It kind of blurs the lines between, are you just being a friend or are you being their realtor?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people have clients that are friends, right? So if you have 5 people in a close group of friends, this is where you got to work off the rule, not the exception, right? So you want to build this for how it makes sense for 80% of the people, right? And say if 5 of those people are friends and they all refer you business and stuff, and you're going to do something special, just invite all 5 of them. I had 4 families, right? I'll share an actual example. One gentleman was a contractor and he got me a whole new construction development. He referred these other people. All of them had all of the parents and all their kids bought and sold homes with them. So what I did one day is I took them all out to like a really nice private chef dinner. And I said, hey, like, I just want to be mindful that I'm so grateful that in every one of these transactions, for all of your family and all of these, like, you've just continued to think of me. So it's just a small thank you for how thoughtful you guys are every day, every year, and every month and thinking about me. And they had the best time, right? They could order anything they want. I didn't really care. Like, we made a lot of money off those relationships.
Yeah, I have several very similar families that their whole families, their parents, their children, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a great idea. Thank you.
Yep. So it's just consolidate where you can consolidate, right? And if you have a lender as a bonus that's worked with all these people, have them pay for at least the whole meal or half the meal, right? And invite them. All right, I have time for one more question, then I have to jump. Anybody? All right, y'all, with love in my heart, I love you all. Did this simplify your CRM for everybody? I just want to make sure. Like, I don't think this is like superly complicated. And look, it just takes you just block some time in your calendar, and like organize an archive is the first step, right? And get your contacts in, obviously, if you've not. So you'll have a wonderful support from your team. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. And by the way, you'll see in an email, we're launching an AI accelerator course. If anyone's interested in like the basics of like programming their AI to talk like them, getting super prompts. Claire, you're in our program, so you get this already. Check out our email. We'll start the course next week. But if you really want to take your AI and ChatGPT and how this all works together, so like it can really save you hours a week to the next level, something to consider. And if not, we'll just keep plugging away here. It's all good. So I'll see you all soon. And by the way, I'm coming to, I can tell them, right, Stephanie? In September, I'm coming there in person. So I'm really excited to meet all of you. So I'll talk to you all soon. Bye, everybody.